Hey Narwhals, I'm your host Luke Narwhal, and today we'll be reading a post from r/lose it. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more weight loss stories. Hunger is not an emergency. Just for a little background, I'm doing intermittent fasting 16-8 plus Seco, at least 1500 calories a day, more if I exercise. I wanted to share a quick little bit of information that I came across reading a book called The Beck Diet Solution. I love this book and I found it incredibly helpful, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about something specific that was said in it. Hunger is not an emergency. This resonated with me because I've been at the grocery store or just going through the day, and at the first sign of hunger, I try to find whatever's closest to make that uncomfortable feeling go away. It's never life-threatening, and if I just wait until I get home, I can make something that follows my plan. But all too often, I have just given into that sensation instead of telling it to just hold on a little longer. And maybe I'll drink some water and see if it's that, but most of the time I won't. I feel like as long as I can remember, I've been afraid of being hungry. It's scary to feel hunger, especially when your next meal seems so far away. It's slightly uncomfortable and it's just easier to snack on something. Even though it's not a part of my plan, I'm sure it won't derail my progress too much, right? As I'm going through this weight loss journey again for the last time, I am starting to become more aware of my body's signals and embracing that hunger. All my years of being overweight and giving into slight hunger pangs has made it difficult for me to recognize the difference between a craving and actual hunger, and now I'm starting to realize when it's actually time to eat. I drink water, tea, distract myself with work, and when that all fails, I know it's time to feed the beast. I'm learning that my hunger is not an emergency. I don't need to find the first place in sight and grab food. I don't need to give in to every bored snacking whim. I don't need to drop everything I'm doing just to silence the little rumbles and my tumbles. My hunger is absolutely not an emergency. I have been focusing on this one too. I get hangry, so since I was a young child, I was told to never let myself be hungry. Now I'm trying to learn a little hunger is just fine, and it's really blood sugar drops that make me a monster. Yeah, I don't starve myself by any means, but now it's like I don't need to give in every time I'm a little hungry. It's like, let's wait it out and see what happens in a few minutes. I was so bad I would literally eat a pre-dinner on my way out the door to go out to dinner in case the food didn't come out right away and I might starve. I'm not afraid of being hungry, but I experience that I eat more calories in total when I wait too long. So when I get hungry in the afternoon, it's easier for me to eat a healthy snack and a light dinner instead of waiting and then having a dinner with too many calories. Yeah, I've definitely heard stories of people overeating. That's one of the main reasons people advocate for not skipping breakfast, because it tends to make people more hungry throughout the day. I guess it just boils down to doing what works best for the individual. If I'm legitimately hungry, I eat. But I want to really assess my hunger cues and make sure I'm eating only because I'm actually hungry and not because of something else. That's good that you adapt like that. Instead of waiting and eating too much later, eat something small now and then balance the next meal compared to the snack. Yes, realizing this recently helped me so much. People always ask on here what to eat, do, and drink to feel less hungry, but the truth is, we need to learn to deal with it. Everyone is hungry sometimes, and that's okay. It's just a sign that says, hey, I think I want some food in a little while, and waiting a few hours is okay. If I gave into all my cravings that I just slightly had, the way I give into food, I'd be addicted to so many other things. Easier said than done though. Yeah, exactly. People don't need to starve, but sometimes it's good to feel a little hungry. I think the more I feel it, the less scary it becomes, and I actually feel a little more in control of my hunger, rather than my hunger controlling me. How have you managed to accept it instead of giving into it? Whenever I get hungry, it's all I can think about, and while I try to not give in, it's always something at the back of my mind. I know I can have food if I want and it's not going anywhere, but I still need to convince myself it's okay. I think what helps me is to have a plan. At work, I have my lunch with me, and I know that I can technically eat it whenever I want. That food is a part of my plan, whether I eat it at 12 p.m. or I eat it at 3 p.m. When I start to feel a little hungry, I try to drink some water and wait. I also really think about what I'm hungry for. If I want something specific, but don't necessarily want my lunch, I'm not hungry, I'm craving. If I could eat anything, I'm probably hungry. Distracting yourself and putting food out of sight is also very helpful. I know it's a challenge to not eat food if you think you're hungry and you're also staring at a shelf full of food or some kind of treat in the office break room. If you're really hungry, then of course eat. But just know that it isn't an emergency and won't hurt if you wait a few minutes or even a couple hours. Yes, I also recently just learned this. I was staying with a friend for a few days. We had quarantined ourselves prior to be safe, and I didn't want to just constantly eat their food, so I ate what they ate. 3 small meals and no snacks. I was pretty hungry and anxious the first few days, but after the third, I was like, wait, I'm actually fine. I'm not dead or wasting away because I couldn't eat the moment I felt hungry, how I used to eat. It kind of dawned on me that hunger is just a feeling. Just like in meditation, when you let some thoughts pass you by without giving weight or value to them, my hunger cues were the same. I could acknowledge that I felt it without needing to take any action associated with it. Literally changed my world. I've gone 3 weeks of intermittent fasting, 16/8, and barely any snacking, which has felt impossible my entire life. It's actually so mind-blowing to me that I can do this, and it's all about reframing hunger. This was all really helpful to me when I was losing weight, but weirdly, now that I'm at a healthy weight, the feeling of hunger has changed for me. It feels like my body thinks that hunger is a lot more urgent now that I have less body fat to spare, so it's harder to ignore hunger if it's not a time for a meal yet. Obviously, that's anecdotal, but I thought it was interesting that my hunger cues seemed to change as I got smaller. This really resonated with me. I was always at a healthy weight growing up, really up until my late 20s, which is when I started gaining weight, and I haven't been able to get it under control. I'm now in the obese range. I've been thinking a lot about how this all started, and your post has given me some clarity. The last time I remember being in a healthy weight, I was pretty poor, basically selling everything I had to eat. And then that ran out and I did the best I could. I worked at restaurants and ate whatever the kitchen handed out to us. Sometimes that is all I had to eat. Sometimes it was a handful of graham cracker cookies I had in a big jar for the whole day. Paydays I would get one good, usually greasy, comforting meal that would satisfy me for a while, and the rest would go to bills. This obviously was not healthy eating habits, nor was I actually healthy, but my weight was. And now I've got a great job, savings, and everything I need. I have anxiety when I run out of something like bread, milk, etc. I always buy two. When I get hungry, I do act like it's an emergency. I think I've been stuck in the mentality of not knowing when my next meal will come, even though now I have abundance. It's all making sense to me now. This long post is just to say thank you for sharing your story. It was really an eye-opener for me, and maybe this will help me change my mindset and eating habits. I'm glad I was able to help. I definitely feel like we're in the same boat. I know how hard it is to feel that way and to not feel like you can break out of that mindset. It's definitely doable, and it's awesome that you're taking steps to getting control of that thinking. I tell people now that the dieting is easy. It's the mental aspect, which is tough. Yes, this. I have found that if I am passive, browsing on Reddit, watching Netflix, or reading books, it is harder to resist the call of food. If I am active, like gardening, walking to or from trouble calls at work, and building woodworking projects in the garage, I sometimes wonder why I am hungry, then realize it's 2 p.m. and I haven't eaten lunch yet. That is a more deep hunger in my stomach, rather than the light boredom hunger that seems to be centered in my brain. I guess having my brain split its focus between multiple processes allows the non-critical boredom hunger to get swamped by the other active tasks your body is performing. I grew up in a home that did sometimes experience a dearth of food, especially nutritious or tasty food. My mother would hide the good food for herself, and most nights my 3 siblings and I would split frozen chicken nuggets or frozen pizza or a box of mac and cheese. Sometimes we didn't even have that though, and I'd have to scrape together pocket change to get individual packets of ramen noodles for us to eat. We qualified for reduced lunch, but I didn't even have 40 cents to buy it. I went without and spent the period reading or studying. Some days as a teenager, I'd have a bowl of cereal and a packet of ramen and water, and that was it. As I got older and earned my own money, it all went to food. All the junk food my family never had in the house, huge portions of anything I wanted to eat, and at college, I'd fill plate after plate in the dining hall. All the food I could eat. I'd never have to be hungry ever again. I gained so much weight. Having gone from one extreme to the other, I straight up never learned how to eat properly. I always ate so often and so much because I was scared of being hungry again. I knew what it was like to have your stomach be so empty you can hardly focus on your schoolwork or fall asleep, and I was terrified of feeling that way again. I'd eat until I was sick and full and just as uncomfortable as I'd be if I hadn't eaten, but at least I wasn't hungry. So now I'm learning how to eat right, practicing SECO and developing an appreciation for my hunger as a signal. I know I have plenty of food to eat and money to buy something sensible if I'm out and about. It's probably the hardest thing I've ever done, but I'm excited to actually learn how I'm supposed to feed my body. I read on here once to think of feeling hungry like we think about feeling tired. It's a signal that usually doesn't need to be responded to immediately. Many of us might feel tired at different points of the day, but we don't stop for an immediate nap. And if we're feeling consistently tired every day, that might be a sign that we need to adjust our sleep routine. And if we're consistently hungry, it may be a sign we need to adjust how we're eating. More often, more protein, more veggies, less sugar, etc. Yeah, that sounds exactly what was said in the book. It's good advice, and it really puts it into perspective. And that brings us to the featured narwhals of the day from our subreddit. Our subreddit is a place to share pictures, ask questions, and get support on your weight loss journey. To join, just open the description below and click the top link. Click Use App, install the Reddit app, create an account, and then click Join once you're at our subreddit. We'd love to have you join us on the subreddit. Once again, the link is below. Our first featured narwhal of the day is YNM, and they say, new here, I've been listening to the videos on YouTube for a while and thought I'd come and take a look at the Reddit page. I started in January and have lost 32 pounds so far. I'm happy with my progress, but things are slowing down and I could use some motivation. Roro says, my friends are bored of me talking about weight loss, so here's a picture of me when I was at halfway to my goal, about 3 weeks ago. A 26 female, 5'7", left 75 kg, right 90 kg. I lost most of the initial weight from my stomach, waist, to my face. I've always been thick on my bottom half, but I'm seeing changes there now too. Godo says, a big win today. Had to tighten my belt another hole. There's only one left to go. My jeans are also fitting weirdly and are getting too loose. It's so nice seeing all my hard work paying off. Thanks for sharing featured narwhals. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more weight loss stories that help you stay on track. Thanks for watching narwhals, and I'll see you in the next one.